Compton streets to the Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Bruh. That's the one. Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We train over 1 million producers around the world. Some have gone to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Glorilla. Some have won Grammy, some have won Platinum Plaques. So you're in good hands in terms of the music production talk. So what I'm going to show you guys is my new view of Suno Studio. I went live stream last night or so, and I didn't know how to use it. So this video is a more defined way of how I would use Suno Studio and the advantages. So here's an example project we're going to load up. And I'll show you guys how to add your own touch to it. Okay, now this song originated from my track, which I made back in July. So I made this in Logic Pro. And what you can do in Suno is drag in your own beat ideas or other music that you guys have rights to, and you can add it as an audio input. So I'll show you guys your way around. So let's say you know nothing about Suno Studio. Let's go to Suno.com. And the cool thing too is you have profiles that you could post your results on. So I have really dope songs up here that are generated from AI. Like this.
I just wanna
Crazy. Okay, so you can post your results right on your profile page. And I've even had somebody else see my stuff and like it. So people do pay attention to these results. So once you go to Suno.com, on the left side, you'll find the studio. Now there's two different plans. Once you go to upgrade, there's the Pro plan, which is where you can just generate audio, which is great by itself. The value is crazy. Okay, so I think it's like, currently $10 a month or less or something like that. And I'm on the Premier plan. So the Premier plan gives you access to Suno Studio. So even if you haven't upgraded yet, use this video as a way to kind of see the experience first before you hop into it. They have a great Suno tutorial, but you won't really understand it until you get hands-on with Suno Studio. It didn't make sense until I went through and I kind of just jumped around to figure stuff out. Okay, so on the left side here, we have the Studio tab. And again, you need the Premier plan in order to access this studio. So the question is, what do you get in the studio that you can't do with the Pro plan? The difference is we can go in and be more granular with our generations. We can, add in things that weren't even in the original generation and only that specific thing. So for example, in this beat that we created, let's say I want some kind of string ensemble to come in around here. I can highlight an area and I can say, create a string ensemble for this section. So I'll show you guys the workflow in a second. All right, so let's get started with your first prompt. So in Suno Studio, you have three main tabs here on the left side. This is where we generate sounds. Okay, the middle tab is where we store the sounds. So these are called workspaces. And the short answer is you'll need these when you generate a lot of samples like myself. I have 845 samples generated, which means scrolling through hundreds of samples is not ideal when you want to create. So in this case, I'm creating workspaces to categorize the samples that I'm creating, and it makes making projects way easier. I'd recommend storing these either by genre or by project. Okay, so in this case, I'm storing it by genre. So we're going to go into our West Coast folder of stuff. Now on the right side here, once you close this is where we actually move stuff around, okay, and do editing. So some of the things you could do is, let's say you like this beat, but you think it needs some strings. So I can highlight an area literally and add some strings. Let's do it real quick just to show you guys if, So let's say I love this area of the song, but I just want to add some strings. Let's highlight this area. Let's click a new track, add a track, and it's going to add a blank track. And from here to here, let's just add some strings. So I'm going to first highlight it. It took me a while to figure this out for some reason. So highlight this and click this icon here to make this bigger. So what we want to do is add something. So we're going to go to the drop down. We're going to tell it to add some strings or guitar, whatever. Let's do strings. And I'm going to say West Coast orchestral strings, G-Funk style. Or I guess G-Funk will be our style. So we're just going to say that. And I think, okay, yeah, I guess we have to say G-Funk here because this is the style. So we're telling it what kind of strings do we want to add. Okay, so it's not guessing. It knows exactly the instrument it wants to create. So we're going to click create. Now you guys can mess with these sliders if you want. I haven't really messed with them. Let's just hit create. Now this does cost generation credits. So it cost me 10 credits just now. But again, when you're on the Premiere plan, even if you get frustrated with Suno Studio, you still get a ton of credits, which you're going to buy anyway. So there's really no downside to upgrading to the Premiere plan. So here it's generating the strings. I'm just going to let you guys see in real time how long it takes. But what it also does is it not only generates the audio, it's analyzing the audio to grab all the details of what the actual thing is. And that's something that is super, super, super unique about Suno is it measures the DNA on a level that humans really can't, in my opinion. So you see these little lines here. Now it's measuring the actual audio for its minute details that humans don't even pick up. So now we can hear this string inside of our production. So now we have a part that was never in the original, and that's the part that is extremely innovative for music production. No other platform does that. Zero, none, never will. And I can't say never will, but Suno is definitely the leader in the space in terms of doing stuff like that. So that makes this program extremely unique, and it took me a long time to learn how to do that, so I'm just excited to finally share that with you guys. Okay, so now that we have the string, I'm going to go through a workflow of how I would actually do this. So firstly, on the left side, we can go to where it says custom so that we can get more granular with our input. And let's go to audio. So we can upload our audio that we've generated. So I have beats on my computer. If you guys want free beats and all these project files that I have, just go to busyworksbeats.com. And at the top, look for where it says free downloads. And you guys can download these. I have tons of beats and all types of stuff in there for free that you guys can use as your material. So here's the original. Okay, so that's the original. So we're going to use that as the audio input. And just like when we described the strings, it knew how to analyze the strings to even pull more detail out of it. So let's click where it says Snoop Dogg beat. And again, we're going to hit save. You can also trim this if you don't want the entire audio uploaded. And you could even record your own audio straight into the audio input. Okay, so what we're going to do is right now, it's just going to save this to the library. So just let it, upload. And then once it's done, it will automatically go into your workspace. So this is why I recommend you guys categorize your stuff by the workspace very early on and stay organized, because I didn't know what workspaces were until like way later. Okay, so click out of the generation and go to your workspace, and it will say uploaded underneath your track. And if we hit play, it should play the track that we just uploaded. Okay, so that's our track. So I would recommend you guys smash the like button because when you like your tracks, it sorts them and you can sort them later. So it just helps sort them when you make hundreds of generations. You want to quickly be able to filter out stuff. And I found that that's a great way to keep track of the samples I actually like out of all our test material. So Suno V5 barely ever misses. It's so good that it's almost like your decision that you're making is which one do I like the most rather than which one actually sounds good. It's like they all sound good, but which one do I like the most? So the accuracy of the output is incredible. So for that reason, I use the like system. So anyway, now that we have our track uploaded, we can click on these three dots. Let's go to remix and we're going to create a cover. So similar to John Mayer, how he's like, waiting on the world to change. Like I'm saying his lyrics, but I'm singing it in my own way. That's what a cover is doing. It's taking your DNA of your song or your beat, and it's just doing it in its own way. You know, it's analogous to the mother and the father, for example, having a child, but you can have different variations of children. So the same thing with this AI. This is what makes it so unique. It's almost like we're making audio children, and you get attached to these variations of your song, especially when you put in the time to really like craft the song. It's just a different level of satisfaction. So let's go to where it says cover. And then over here on the left side, it will map out any lyrics that it hears in the song, or if it just hears a beat. Now I did have lyrics in here. So we're going to put verse. You don't have to do this, but this is how the system labels it. I'm sure there's a better way to prompt it. I don't know all the like minute details about prompting secrets. Not yet. So under lyrics, we're going to put verse. And I said, got the dog in me. Okay. And then I'll put, you got the dog. Now I've noticed too, if you put parentheses, it does like an ad lib. So if you do like parentheses, I think it understands it as an ad lib. So we're going to copy and paste this. If you want more room for your lyrics, click this little full screen button and we're just going to copy and paste. So the cool thing about Suno is that it will take your lyrics and add the rhythm to it to match the actual music. So sometimes it's off, and that's where you have to record your own audio to kind of give it the cadence and the flow that you want. But most of the time, it does some magic to where it figures out how to fit your words onto a beat, especially when you allow it to generate the audio beat and the instrumental. Okay, so let's go to the next step here. So also too, what I love about Suno is it takes our song and it describes it on a level that even I wouldn't know how to describe this music. Like to me, it's just West Coast G-Funk. To Suno, it says a high energy electronic dance track with driving beat. Now in this case, it wouldn't be an electronic dance. I'm going to replace that with West Coast G-Funk. Okay, so this is a high energy West Coast G-Funk track with a driving beat and a prominent synth melody. The song features a consistent 4 on the floor kick. In this case, it's not 4 on the floor. Now I'm pinpoint, what's the word? Cherry picking stuff out because I'm a music producer. But most of the time, if you guys have a style that you want, just go to somewhere like Grok, for example, and we'll do this on the next step. But basically, it does a really good job of describing your music off the bat. You won't have to change anything. It's only because I'm a music producer and I know all these terms that I know the nuances. But even if you don't know the nuances, you don't have to worry about the actual prompt unless it sounds completely out of your genre. You could always just simplify it, and I'll show you guys how to simplify all this. So we're just going to let it be. I just wanted to take out that it was an electronic track because I don't want it to generate an EDM track. And then let's just hit create. So what this will do is at the bottom here, it will put this in the workspace that we choose. So that's where we select which bucket of stuff it puts it in. Okay, so if we close out the generation tab, here's our workspace. And it generates so quick. So basically you can hear ideas in a matter of seconds. So it's taking the melody and the timing, but creating its own vibe. Now here's another thing is you can change out the style. It doesn't even have to be West Coast G-Funk. I could change this out and say West Coast G-Funk. And I could do this as we're generating. So I could generate as much as I can. So let's do a couple West Coast G-Funk variations. Now here's a thing I wanted to show you guys. Let's say I want a Snoop Dogg style and I hit create. It will block me from using the word Snoop Dogg. So I'm going to show you guys a different way to get around some of these celebrity words here. All right, so we're going to go to Grok and we're going to ask Grok, give me a comma separated description of Snoop Dogg's music style. Okay, and it should give us a simple list of keywords that represent his style. So let's highlight these, and now we can go in and prompt this as the style. So whenever you run into issues with the artist, I recommend you guys do that. We've done it for Quincy Jones style, and it came out really, really good. Okay. So don't sleep on having AI translate an artist style because it gets to the actual building blocks of what makes an artist style, their style, not just their name. Okay. Now, lastly, we did West Coast G-Funk, and it also tells you your style prompt underneath the audio. So I can quickly see where did I prompt West Coast G-Funk? Where did I prompt, the Snoop Dogg alternative? Where did I prompt? And we could also even type in emo rock. So let's say we want to turn this into an emo song. I could do that as well. All right, so we have so many generations, so let's listen to what it's created so far. The quality on that vocal is a little, again, I don't think it really has enough G-Funk in the system to chisel down the G-Funk. I always prompt it with really niche genres like G-Funk or like New Jack Swing. And that's how I can tell how far along they are in their training. So in this case, you might be a little more hit or miss, but I'll show you guys why we're getting that type of sound. Is because we had the prompt that it generated by itself, I think, right? The G-Funk West Coast electronic. Yeah. So this is the prompt that it generated from analyzing our song.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog.
See how it does the ad-libs?
Got the dog in me. You got the dog. Got the dog.
So that one's cool. It just, I think the voice doesn't match the genre in that case. So here's where the prompt was just West Coast G-Funk. I found that I get better results when I just type in simple genres. When your prompt is too long sometimes, I think it gets too granular. And it's almost like when somebody asks you for like a country beat that has trap drums mixed with R&B vocals, reverb from the 80s. Like it's too many ingredients. And I think that's what happens sometimes. So I'm gonna smash the like.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog. Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got dog in me. Got the dog in me. Got dog.
This is hard.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. Got dog. Got the dog in me.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Let's go to the next generation.
Got the dog. You got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog in me.
This one's a little low energy, so let's go to the next one. Again, the prompt was just West Coast G-Funk. So I want to see where it goes with the lyrics.
You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog.
I like that one. It's just a different like level of energy.
Got the dog in me. You got the dog. The dog in me. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog in
This one's a little bare bones, so let's go to the next one. So here's where we had it use the Snoop Dogg style, converted by ChatGPT, Grok.
Got the dog in me. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the
This is hard.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog in me. Got the dog.
It's between that one and the first one I like so far.
Dog in me. Got the dog. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. Got the dog.
So I like this one, but I just like the third one and that first one. And then I'm just showing you guys how I could do different styles too. Here's the emo rock version of it. So now you can hear your songs in completely different genres. And we can combine this too with the original, with the beat that we make today, song that we make.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me.
This is hard. Let's go. I like that one.
Got the dog in me. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog.
See how I just love them all? The question becomes, which one do we actually want to use? They're all good. I'm going to show you guys how to combine different styles today. So I think I like the third generation. Let me go back to the first one.
Got the dog in me.
That one's cool. And then I also like this one.
Dog in me.
This one just sounds a little bit clearer. Okay, so now we have all our generations in our workspace. Let's move to Suno Studio and start arranging things. So let's click in the top here. We're actually going to start a new project. So let's just start brand new. We're going to open up the workspace tab. And now we're just going to left click and drag the generation straight into Suno Studio. I know not everybody's a music producer. So what I recommend you guys do, it's not mandatory, but what I recommend you guys do just to keep things simple is left click your audio and drag it to where it starts right where it says 1. Because you can drag it before, but that will probably not help you guys align things. So I recommend you guys just drag this straight to the 1 so that we can count bars a little bit easier. Okay, so now I can go to the studio and arrow at the top here for the playhead and just hit space bar to play the track. Okay, so the next step I would normally do is click here at the top of the audio, and on the right side here, we can do things like extract stems, transpose, all this type of stuff. So what we're gonna do is extract the stems. Here's a caveat. You will lose quality by extracting stems. People may not be able to detect it, but my ears can detect there is a quality difference. So when you do create stems, it's better if you're an artist that just wants to add your vocal to go with the vocals and instrumental than to separate every single stem, because you will sacrifice quality for more flexibility in terms of creation. So there is a trade-off, and luckily it's not that apparent. So let's go to all detected stems. So what it does is it will go through this track and it will try to analyze the track for every single element, from vocals to drums to bass to guitar to, keyboards to percussion, strings, synth, FX, brass, woodwinds. So it categorizes all the sounds it thinks it hears. This is a nuanced observation, but I'm not sure if it's generating from scratch to create these stems or if it's analyzing the existing audio and extracting. I can't tell because the reason is there's different versions. So why would they have different versions if you're extracting the same material? So I think this gives you even more, and I'm guessing here, but I think it gives you even more control that you cannot get in a DAW. Even if it's Logic Pro, they have a really good extraction tool, but I don't think even FL Studio can get to this level of stem extraction because they're generating it per track. That's what I think. Okay, I could be wrong because that's what the versions tab is, I assume, which you cannot do that in your DAW. Your DAW just simply extracts what it thinks it hears and that's it. Okay, now that we have that, we're gonna click where it says Insert All. And what it's gonna do is analyze all these tracks and it will mute your original track and it will put in these other tracks. Okay, these are the separated, what we call multi-tracks. So now I can do stuff like turn up the drums, have the drums hit a little harder.
Got the dog in me, you got the dog. Got the dog in me, got the dog in me, you got the dog.
Let's say you didn't like that sound. We can go back and try to find it.
You got the dog.
Now I like it personally. I'm just saying, let's say you didn't like it.
You got the dog. Got the dog in me, got the dog in me.
I don't even know where the sound happened. Hold on.
Dog in me, got the dog in me, you got the dog.
So here's where you can go in and be like, where is that sound actually? I think it's in the backing vocals somewhere.
Me, got the dog in me, you got the dog. Got the dog in me,
It's hard to tell where that actual sound is coming from. Maybe it's under this effects tab. Okay, so let's say you didn't like that. You can literally just highlight it and delete it. So if there's distracting things in your beat that you don't want, now I like that sound, but I'm just saying if you guys didn't like it, you could just delete it. Now your generation doesn't have that in it any longer. Without you needing a DAW, without you needing to download anything.
The dog in me, got the dog in me, you got the dog. Got the dog in me,
Now personally, I like that. It was just a really unique sound. So you can hit Control Z to go back. Or I think there's an undo button somewhere in the top right here. There's undo and redo. So you guys can always go back and forth.
Got the dog in me, you got the dog. Got the dog in me, got the dog in me, you got the dog. Got the dog in me, got the dog in me, you got the dog. Got the dog in me, got the dog in me.
So let's say I want to introduce this song with like a Dr. Dre feel, some kind of strings, some kind of orchestral strings. What we can do is add a track and it will create a blank space where we can add stuff. And I want just the first couple bars, in this case, 5 bars. You don't need to know how to count bars. Just highlight the general space. And it took me a while to find this out. So what we can do from here is this area down here is our generation tool within Suno Studio, okay? So we can click this drop down and tell it what we want to generate. So let's say we want to generate some strings, and then we can't say the word Dr. Dre. So I'll have Grok, I'll say do the same for Dr. Dre. For Dr. Dre orchestral strings. So it should give us a translation on how to communicate that we want his style of strings. So let's highlight all these words. We don't need to know what they mean. Okay, we're gonna paste that into the style here. And I don't mess with these sliders, I just leave them as is. And we're gonna create. So this does cost you, I guess it depends on the length, because before it cost me 10 credits, now it costs me 4. So I guess it varies the amount of credits it costs you to create a track. So what it's going to do is it listens to your track and it tries to figure out the tempo, the groove, the key, and it's going to create from scratch a new sound of strings that should fit this vibe. And this is the unique thing about Suno Studio that you cannot do in any other DAW right now, this easily. I don't think you can even do that with FL Studio with their loop starter. Okay, so this is a unique innovation that I've seen only in Suno Studio. So now it's going to introduce the song with some strings. Now, sometimes I've noticed that it doesn't perfectly line up, as you guys just saw. So that is the tricky part of me understanding how to actually prompt this thing. And it could be just my ignorance, but I've done it earlier, as you guys saw, and it worked just fine. So this is one of those things where I don't know like how else to change it. But if you click on it, it also tells you the tempo, and you can go to original tempo or on beat tempo. Okay, so I guess it's trying to time stretch it. So let's say we don't like that one, which it's a little off beat. Let's delete this. And it looks like in our workspace, we actually have different variations of that string. So that was just one of them. I think that's the one we generated. Let's drag this one in, see if it fits. So this is really unique. Okay, so we're generating just a simple piece of the puzzle. Now the tricky part, again, like I've said, guys, is trying to figure out how to actually line this up. So that's the part where it is a little hit and miss. I'm not going to lie to you guys and just act like everything just works as planned, because this, sometimes it doesn't. So that did work, actually. It was just off. That's why I said make sure to start at the 1. That way everything is a little bit more measurable. Because what I did was I didn't realize this was off by like a hair. And that little tiny hair made everything sound off. So I want this to drop in. Now, is there a snap to grid feature on here? I don't think so. Or maybe there is and I just don't know the shortcut. But apparently control left click allows you to slide what we call nudge. So you get into these microscopic movements. I wonder if I hit shift or alt, will it like lock in a little bit more? We're just going to do it by eyeballing it, but I would like to move this over to where this goes, it drops into it like that. There we go. That's the rhythm. So that's the part of this experience that you guys will have to learn in the flow of doing things. Let me switch sides, sorry. Dang, you guys can't even see that. But basically, this is where you have to use your own discernment. It's not always going to be perfectly right. As you guys saw, I dragged and dropped it in the first time. It wasn't perfectly on beat. So I had to move this over until it locked into the beat. And sometimes I've had it to where it doesn't do it. So just understand that is a little bit of a variation in the Suno Studio. Now we got our strings. It's just like that.
Got the dog in me. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog in me. Got the dog in me.
So what I'm going to try to do, this is an experimental step. We're going to drag the vocals, and what I need to do is unlock the original cover that it has some kind of timing reference, or actually that might be more prudent to do the drums. So what I want to do is do a different vocal. Now this is completely experimental, and this is where you guys got to watch the official Suno Studio tutorial, because this is where I had a lot of confusion. So basically what you need to do is we need to give it a time reference. So we're going to find our rhythmic element, in this case the drums, and we're going to highlight the vocals that we want to change at the same time.
Got the dog.
So I'm going to highlight just a little bit ahead so we can gather some of those words. I'm going to highlight the entire vocal. Now it'd be cooler if I could kind of scroll with the screen, but again, this is version 1, so we're not tripping on that. I'm going to highlight the entire verse. So if you guys can see, it has highlighted these 2 tracks. And what we can do is open up the audio generation area. We can clear it out with this little trash can icon. And I can go to the top of the audio. I can grab it and I can drag it into the audio area. Okay, so it combines these 2 into one file, from what I understand. Okay, so it takes the vocals and the drums, and currently it's combining them into one unique thing so that it can reanalyze it as if it's its own track. So by the time this is done, we should only be able to hear the drums and the vocal. So let's see.
Got the dog in me. Look at the dog. Got the dog in me. Dog. Got the dog in me. Look at the dog.
Okay, so that worked. Now, some things I've seen on the tutorial is under styles, we have to give it the BPM. Okay, so we're going to put 103 BPM. We're going to describe it West Coast G-Funk. And maybe I want to change the lyrics. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and come up with some bars. So I'm still writing lyrics here, but I want a very specific rhythm and a cadence. So what I want to do is record this in my DAW. I haven't had success recording in the actual online input, but what you guys can do is in the top left, at least in Chrome, I've had issues. So go in the top left, make sure your microphone's turned on, and or go to site settings and make sure your mic's turned on. From a drop down, you should see inputs here for your microphone. Now my system doesn't show it for some reason. So I don't know if it's a Google Chrome glitch or what. I've even tried on a different laptop. So I don't know why my inputs don't work properly. So this is why I need a classic DAW where I'm going to record these vocals. So I'm still writing some bars here. But I realized what we need to do though is we need to export this project that we have so far as a song so that we can import it into our DAW. So let's go to export and we're going to do full song. And this will allow me to drag and drop this into my DAW where I can record. All right, so it says it shows up in our library. So let's close this out. Let's go to our finish.
Got the dog in me. Look at the dog.
All right, so I don't know where a library, it says was saved in your library, go to song. Okay, so apparently it puts it in a different place, the library, which I don't know if that's the same thing as a workspace or not. All right, so here is the song, and we should be able to hit play. Okay, here we go. All right, now we can also click here and download this. So let's download this as a wave.
Got the dog in me.
All right, now some things you want to do before you continue are keep note of the BPM. So mine keeps cycling between 102 and 103, but we're just going to say 102 for now. All right, so just keep that in mind as the BPM for when we drag it into our DAW, and make sure we have, a tab with all the files just in case. Okay, and I recommend you guys copy and paste the lyrics in the case that something goes haywire and we lose the lyrics. Okay, so just copy and paste this to a text file just so you don't lose the lyrics. So now we're in Logic Pro. I have the actual file here. I'm just gonna try to record this all in one take. God willing, this works. What we could do in Logic is actually copy these to our tab over here, and we can just edit this and paste our lyrics so that way we don't need to hold the text thing open. And we're just gonna record this in now. Pray I get this in one take, but we'll see. Chill. West Coast. Yeah. Went from Compton streets to Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie Sean. Oh, messed up. Man, I ran out of breath. If I had one more lung, we would have had that. Damn, goblins, West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Sean, Nas, and Pop Sound. All right, so what we need to do is combine all these audios. So I'm going to duplicate this again. Essentially, what we need to do is drag this and compile this into one audio take. So let's just drag this down. And we're going to mute the song that Suno gave us, and we're going to go in and export this. So let's go to File. We're going to do a bounce. In this case, we're just going to do the entire project. I'm going to save this to my desktop just so it's easier. We're going to do a waveform. The reason we're doing it through the DAW also is because the quality will be higher. I've noticed that when you record into Suno, it definitely downsamples or lowers the quality a little bit. So therefore, I want the crispiest audio to go into Suno. So that's why I record in my DAW. So I'm just giving you guys the nuances that nobody really would know unless they do this entire process. And let's clear out this prompt. Now, here's the tricky part is combining that vocal with the actual beat. So here's where it gets a little convoluted in the process. So let's do this. Let's clear out the prompt. And we're going to upload both the beat that we just exported and we're going to upload the vocal. So let's upload both these two under the audio tab. So let's find the beat in the beat folder. All right, so I found the beat here. Let's upload this file. We're just going to hit save. All we want it to do is to save to the library right now in our bucket called a workspace. Okay, we need the two ingredients. We need the full beat that we created in the first session, and we need the vocal. So I could use the same Suno Studio to do this, but it will get a little track heavy, meaning we have a lot of stuff going on. So I might start a new session because we already have all the things that we want musically speaking. We don't need to really do anything musically speaking. Right now it's just vocals. So what I'm going to do for this project is rename this and just move to a new project. So let's go to old West Coast G-Funk because we don't need to do anything else in terms of production on this one. And let's click here and let's start a new project. So that way we don't have to worry about 17 different things happening. Let's go back to the audio. Let's go to upload. And now let's find our actual vocal that we recorded. I recommend you guys upload WAV files here because it's just higher quality. Let's hit save. And then again, we're just aiming to save it to our workspace and our library. Okay, so once we have that uploaded, then we can put these two elements, the vocal that we created in the DAW, plus the instrumental that the Suno Studio created for us, you know, as a cover of our own original beat. And now we can do cool things like take our vocal and change the vocal styling. So this is where I had an issue before and I didn't know the process. So I had to rewatch the Suno, which I'll link it below, the official Suno Studio tutorial. All right, so now let's close out the generation tab and let's make sure we have both the beat and the vocal. All right, so here's the correct one. All right, so let's drag this in. And the reason we need this, again, is for the timing purposes. So it thinks that it's 103 BPM vocal. Now it thinks it's at 171 BPM, which is not at 171. While in 13 years of problem hanging with the wrong ones. All right, so let's grab this vocal and drag it into the session. Now, we want to make sure that it, because this one says 171, it's definitely not 171. So I'm just going to see if I can find an area where we could change that detail. I don't know an area where we could change that detail. Worst case scenario, when we drag this into the Suno Studio, we could tell it to only look at the original BPM and not try to time stretch it. So basically what we need to do is just drag it in. And this is another reason why I told you guys to try to line your stuff up on the grid here, starting at the 1 so that you can measure properly. So this should measure up properly. Went from Compton Street. See how that doesn't line up? Okay, it's because they time stretched it. So let's click where it says on beat. We're gonna click on the vocal, go to on beat and switch this to original, and that will move it back to where it should be. So that's one of the nuances that I didn't realize before. All right, let's go back. Went from Compton Street. So for some reason, this beat, now this is another thing. Let's put in manual BPM because the original BPM was not 103. I think it like reanalyzed it and got it incorrect there. Because now the vocal's not lining up. So this is a matter of the tempo being incorrect. So I think we were at 103 tempo. Regardless, let's just line it up manually because we could sit here all day. All right, so guys, this will be tough because with vocals, there's nothing to line your vocal up. You're just guessing, okay? So there's no transient material, they call it. So I had to manually just slide this left and right to get it. Just keep in mind, you probably will run into that same workflow issue, okay? Went from Compton Streets to Ivory Towers. As you guys can hear, the got the dog in me is a little bit louder than my vocal. So what I want to do is create stems so that I can turn down the background vocals only during this section. So let's extract stems. We want to extract just the vocals and the instrumental. We don't want to extract every single sound because again, it can tend to lower the quality. All right, so all we want to do is just turn that background vocal from the actual beat down. Okay, so we're not looking for my acapella. We're looking for the vocals in the actual beat. And we're separating those vocals so I could turn it down. So let's hit insert all. Okay, so now we're gonna highlight the vocals. Went from Compton Streets to Ivory Tower. And now all we gotta do is highlight where I have my verse. Let's zoom out a little bit because my verse was not the whole way through. So let's just start where their vocals are and then where mine end. And then we're gonna hit Control E to chop this into its own little clip, they call it. And now we're gonna turn this clip down. So you can visually see it's smaller. Okay, so we're gonna turn this down about 6 dB so that it's about half the volume. Went from Compton Streets to Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones cause I can't be childish. Outside wild in 13 years of problem hanging. And here's where we could do stuff like, again, like turn up the beat.
Went from Compton streets to Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years a problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Sean, Nas, and Pac sound.
Okay, so what I want the system to do is take my vocal demo and use that same cadence. Got the down with the dot down. Like I said, it's a different type of flow. We're gonna do a couple things. This is where it gets a little convoluted. So firstly, we could take the beat and we could remix this with vocals and then extract the vocals from the. Actually, I think there's an add vocals tool here. So let's click on the beat, just so you guys understand the difference. There at this point, there's like 18 things we could do to this project. So this is where it gets creatively unique. We're going to click on the instrumental. We're going to click these 3 drop downs and we can go to where it says remix and let's go to add a vocal. So we're going to take an instrumental and we're going to add a computer vocal to it. Now, assuming you don't have recording technology and all this equipment, we're simply going to just copy and paste some lyrics. Now, the system is not going to know how to flow to this beat the way I did. Because it's a very, 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 very specific cadence. Okay, so what it will do is it will try to guess where to put these words, and we have to give it a style. So let's put West Coast G-Funk. Do the same thing for The Game, the rapper. Okay, and it should give us a comma separated list. So let's just, now we can't use Dr. Dre production, so let's just take that out. All right, so we're gonna copy this and paste it into the style. Okay, now sample heavy, I don't think that matters. Okay, so we're gonna do add vocal. So it's gonna add a vocal performance to this beat prompt that has no vocals on it. Okay, now I'm doing this so we can compare the styles. Okay, so what we're gonna do, put the style in and we're gonna put it in the West Coast workspace. We're gonna hit create. Let's create a couple times just to give it a couple variations because it's gonna come up with different ways to fit the beat. Okay, so we wanna like at least 10 generations on that one, just to be fair. Now what I'm gonna do though is go to my vocal, okay? And we're gonna clear out the, can you guys see this? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna clear out the prompt area. And now I'm gonna take my vocal and we're gonna create a cover. Okay, now to do this though, here's where it gets a little tricky. We have to combine our beat, our vocal plus the beat. So let's do this. We can technically do this in our DAW, but I didn't do it. So what we need to do is highlight the vocal and the instrumental. Okay, highlight all of it, at least where it's present. So let's just do this entire section right here. And we're gonna drag this into the audio input. So let's left click, drag it over to the left side and drag it into where it says audio. So this will combine these 2 tracks into one audio file. So we should be able to hear, the lead vocal plus the beat. And what we're going to tell it to do is it basically will take the beat as the timing mechanism and it will take the style from our cadence and it will create a new vocal. But we have to give it a couple more things. So let's say 103 BPM. Let's type in that same prompt it gave us. And I'm just going to add West Coast G-Funk just as an extra little keyword. Okay, so now we just want to double check the lyrics. Again, I'd recommend you guys just copy and paste your own lyrics. I would not rely on the system here. Okay, especially if you have ad libs. So I could, anytime I have ad libs, like little catchphrases before the main beat, I'll type it in parentheses. Okay, and then it usually just says it a little bit differently. I don't know if underscores make a difference, but whenever I want to tell myself to take a breath, I either add a comma or an underscore to remind myself to take a breath. Okay, so I want to spell it the same exact way as everything else. Okay, and now we have the style. We're going to create a cover. Now the cover will create a completely new track with the same timing. Okay, so this is going to be completely a whole different track. That's what throws you off at the first part. You're going to be confused because it will create a new track. Let's hit create. Now I think there is a way to create just a vocal. So let's try under styles. Now this is not guaranteed. So let's just type in acapella. But let me take out the word soulful samples too. And let me make sure there's no keywords that represent a beat, heavy beats. Let's take that out. And let me see here. 103 BPM, West Coast gangster rap, gritty street narratives, aggressive flows, introspective. Okay, so, and we're gonna take out anything that has to do with a beat. And I'll even say no drums, no instruments, but sometimes it will just ignore that. So it's still hit or miss. So let's generate this a couple times. So here's where, again, there's so many variations of stuff that could happen that this is where I found it gets a little hairy, as they say. So let's go all the way back and let's go to the computer generated lyrics. How it thinks I would rap.
Shit down in the motherfucker.
It just added that.
Yeah. Went from Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years a problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine, Nas, and Pac sound.
So that was cool, but it tends to rap on beat, and that's what kind of it doesn't match the cadence I had. It tends to perfectly rap on that downbeat. So it was cool. It did fit the words in there properly, but it's just so quantized in terms of how it raps. But I'm not critiquing it.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones cause I can't be childish. Outside wild, 13 years a problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown.
So you can start to hear the like specific tones. Let's keep going. Oh, one of these two, I want to just put West Coast G-Funk. So let's, like I said, guys, some of the best prompts are very simple. We don't want to put too many keywords. West Coast G-Funk. All right, so we're just going to do that instead. And I'm going to do a couple rolls of that. All right, so these are cool so far. It just probably has too many words in the prompt. I love how it just adds random like sample stuff.
Went from Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years a problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of a Biggie, Shine, Nas, and Pac sound.
You got that part right. I thought I had more lyrics. I guess I didn't. Oh, I guess that was the lyrics. So I like that. That was a cool generation. So see how the computer just magically knows how to do rhythms and like cadence? I don't know how it does it. It's just magical.
Went from Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years a problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side got
that flow. So as you guys can see, the more niche we go with these genres, the less training it has, and we don't get the greatest results, but it still sounds decent.
Went from Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones cause I can be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years a problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside.
And you can, let's say you like a voice, but you just don't want to keep the take. You can click here, go to create and make a persona. So I have a lot of personas of these West Coast voice kind of guys. So let's say LA guy, and I'm just going to make it private in this case and save it. So now we can save that voice style for another record. Maybe not this one, but a different one. He just added that in.
Went from Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones cause I can be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years a problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of a Biggie, Shine, Nas, and Pac sound.
That was a pretty cool take. Let me kind of skip past the next ones unless they're really fire. Let me just kind of eyeball
There's a
them.
problem hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine, Nas, and Pac sound.
That was actually pretty dope. Let me run that back.
Bones cause the streets to the went from Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones cause I can't be childish. Outside wild, 13 years a problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine, Nas, and Pac sound.
It's that voice. That was a really cool take. I like that one. Here's our last computer generated take.
Yeah.
He said no.
Yeah, went from Compton streets to the Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside game, holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine, Nas, and Pop sound.
Now, that wasn't the greatest flow, but I did like the tone. So funny enough, I like the last two. I was just about to skip over those, and I actually like those the most. So that it just shows you guys, sometimes a computer creates its own style, and it almost feels like we're collabing with an artist. Let's go to the one where I uploaded my cadence, and let's see if it figured it out. If not, I'll use those two. But here's where, you know, you're rolling the dice in terms of outcome. Where's the verse? I don't think it did a verse.
Went from Compton streets to the Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my... Went from Compton streets to the Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside game, holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine, Nas, and Pop sound.
So that was more in the pocket. Ah, man, I like those last three though. That was more in the pocket. It did get some of the words not perfectly in the pocket, but that was more in that pocket. And so now we're teaching the AI to not always be perfectly quantized. So I like that one. I like these last three. Let me unthumbs up some of these so I know where.
Went from Compton streets to the Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside game, holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine, Nas, and Pac sound.
Tell me, that's exactly what we do as producers. We do our song references and then an artist performs them. This is exactly what producers do. And this is the unique thing about Suno, is you can hear so many variations of the way you would say stuff that it's just like, it's a creative mind mapping, if that makes sense.
Went from.
He said, went from. Let's go. Now I'm getting excited. They're more in that pocket. And then I'll show you guys how to combine this song with the other song that we generated. So I'm not done yet.
Went from Compton streets to the Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside game, holding the block down. A mixture of...
I like the energy on that one, not the timing necessarily, but I do like the tone on that one. Man, I like all of these. I love how it just does something different every time. I like this for sure. That's hard.
Compton streets to the Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside game, holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine, Nas, and Pac sound.
Bruh. That's the one. That is the one, y'all. That is the one. Hopefully you guys can see how dope this is. Oh my goodness, this is so dope. Oh man, I'm pumped. That is the one though. I know for sure, I can feel it. That's the one. So let's open up a new project and drag that in. This is definitely the track. And it nailed it. Like I was praying it got the end of the vocal right, and it did. So I'm gonna keep that definitely in there because that is definitely it. Let's rename this project West Coast G-Funk 3. Man, that is crazy. Now I'm going to hear these other ones just to make sure there's nothing better, but I'm pretty sure that that's the one. Oh, this is the acapella one right here. All right, now these ones are just the acapella. So I think acapella to them is a style, not necessarily vocal stems by themselves. But technically it is. So So I think they're redoing the beat as a vocal.
Compton streets to the ivory towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem, hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. West side, got the game on lockdown, came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside.
Now I do like the rhythm and everything, I just don't like the voice because it reminds me of a different rapper. Not that it was bad, it's just a different rapper. That one didn't do the vocals. Yeah, this definitely didn't do vocals on an 18-second. So here's where it got.
Went from.
Here's it went from. All right, so these completely just disregarded our lyrics. Okay, so that's why I said it's kind of like rolling the dice when we use those that specific technique. So that one did not give me my lyrics. I don't know why, but we do have the actual one that is the best one. And I feel like we had a track from earlier. I'm gonna see if I can find it here. So we have a couple records from earlier. Here's one. We're gonna drag this into the studio. We may or may not use it, and I'll show you guys how I like to combine two different songs into one. So we'll just kind of mute this for now and just drag it in. And there's another emo one that I think I said I was going to show you guys how to combine these two. So again, these don't need to be an entire song. We're just going to use it almost like an appearance. Okay, so now we're in Suno Studio. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning and listen to what we have. I'm going to turn this up at least 3 dB here.
Compton streets to the ivory towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem, hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown, came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down, a mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac Sound.
All right, so that's just fire. Now I'm going to show you guys how to mix. So this video will be like showing you the entire process as a music producer, how I would actually use this stuff. So what I would do at this point is just find the part of the songs that I like the best. So let me kind of skip around here.
Got the dog in me.
Also too, when we click on these, let's make sure we turn it to the original BPM. I keep forgetting to do that. That way it doesn't alter the speed of the sound. So like, do you get the dog? All right, so I'm just waiting for the vocal to... That was hard. So I like kind of like 2 bars before the vocals come in, somewhere around here. Where it goes like that. So let's find that. We don't need to be exact on this one because what we're going to do is create what's called a fade. So the fade is basically a volume knob that just turns up slower or down slower. And this is a way to kind of cross fade stuff into each other. Okay, so we can...
Game holding the block down, a mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac Sound.
Now we do not need to be on beat perfectly here. So that's the cool part about fades. You don't need to be in perfect rhythm here. Now it probably does help to at least try to line up some of these vertical lines here from the audio. Try to line that up with a vertical line. And we could also fade out. So we're fading out the original and fading in the new audio. That's a nice way to blend them. Or we could just drag this kind of earlier. So it goes like that. And it seems seamless. Love it.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog.
2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 2, 3, and so right here we don't need the rest. Let's just hit Control E and just delete that, and click over here, delete that. We don't need the emo version. I just showed you guys how to fade 2 different songs in, and all we got to do is just fade the outro, and that's really it.
You got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me.
Okay, so that's how records used to end anyway. So let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wild in 13 years of.
So I'm definitely going to export these multi-track purpose, meaning when I extract them, they will say new track and the Snoop Dogg track. So basically it will come out as 2 different tracks. The reason I'm doing that is so in Logic I can mix them very specifically because they're 2 different beats. If this were the same project with the same instruments, I wouldn't need to do all this. I would just export it as one file. So it's going to take a while because it has to zip 2 different projects. And here we see we have the zip folder. We could just open this up to unzip it. And we should have 2 tracks, again, like I said, named our tracks. So new track is this first beat. And then the second one is the second beat. Now we'll be blank because it's lining it up with the actual project. And that way we can mix them individual of each other in the case that I need to make edits on one specific thing. All right, so let's run this back and then I'll open this stuff up in Logic to show you guys how to mix and master this stuff.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wild in 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Okay, so for the people who aren't music producers, you know, this is where music producers kind of take it further. Okay, so it's like you can get pretty far just with Suno, but as you saw, I went off of Suno to record some audio. But again, you guys can record straight into Suno. I personally just have some kind of issue with the website. It's not working on my end, at least in Google Chrome. And I'm on Sequoia Mac on a Mac Mini. So just to give you guys some specs. All right, so now we're in Logic. So this is a full comprehensive video. I'm gonna have to edit this to combine all these pieces. Okay, so now we have the first beat here. Let's just call this beat 1. And then we have beat 2. And we're gonna mix these. So I'm just gonna mix. I'm not gonna explain too much because it will just eat up too much time here to explain every tiny thing. But music producers who pick up on stuff will pick up on stuff. All right, so let's just make this stuff a little bit louder. And also too, we can group these into a what we call a track stack so that we can address these at the same exact time. Okay, so we could do that first.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wild in 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me.
All right, so for this record, for example, this EQ move is too aggressive for the group, so we need to go back to the first beat and just address that EQ separate from the other track. Because that second track had way more bass.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wild in 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
All right, so now I'm gonna mess with the stereo image for producers who know. It's gonna make it sound wider.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem.
Let's add a de-ester for that vocal.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones.
So I've noticed with a lot of AI generations, the way they create sound is they have to use a lot of high frequencies because it's harder to distinguish the difference in instruments in the lower frequencies. So the way they create the difference is usually in the higher frequency material. And so with AI generated stuff, you get this really dense high end that you normally don't get with typical production. So that's where we're taming some of this high end. Like see this, tss, okay, because they create it through autoregressive means in most cases. They take noise and they craft shape out of noise. So that's why it sounds so noisy still.
Cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound. Towers, got the dog.
So let's reshape some of these sonics.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound. Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas.
So I'm gonna see if I can find that vocal frequency and tame it just a little bit because just want to kind of capture where that vocal exists.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging.
So this is where the vocal kind of lives.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones. Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound. Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong.
So I'm trying to grab the entirety of the vocal. The vocal's more than just high frequencies. For producers, you know, it's the fundamental frequency and then all the harmonics above.
Towers, got the dog in my.
But I'm trying not to capture all the instruments here.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound. Towers, got the dog in.
So we do need some stereo information here. I'm going to try different techniques to create stereo separation here. This is not a tutorial. You guys could use stuff like Isotope. I'm just trying some.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was.
See how that adds that nice width?
Towers, got the dog in my.
But that's a little too aggressive and it creates like phase issues.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside.
So I do like the sound though. I just want it to be a little more cohesive in terms of its image. So here's where we're going to use Isotope's Imager. I'm on version 11. You guys are on what? They're on version 12 by now, I think. So you guys can mess with the newer stuff. So basically, we need to widen a specific range here.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years.
So this, I want to create a stereo delay, which is what we just did. We stereoized the area. And we need to turn this up, turn this on. And I've heard version 2 is better than the other one.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13.
So we're creating just a small width change.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins.
Now this might be too much width, so let's.
Towers, got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown, came up way
So we want to mess with the actual width and also the time difference.
towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown, came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound. Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin'.
I'm going to widen the range so it doesn't feel so like to itself.
Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown, came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside.
So let's do a before and after. Here's before.
Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown, came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
So it does change the stereo image, but I think it's for the better of this track. And let's put this first because those EQs work on the mid and the side image.
Towers. Got the dog in my
And let's go back to these EQ decisions.
Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talk.
Because now the side is a different image.
Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause
So we can pull it more narrow to pull in the entirety of the width back.
Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13.
So now we have a really nice combination. Whoops. So let me save this real quick. All right, so now let's do a before and after just to show you guys how far we've taken this song so far. So here's before any mixing.
Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown, came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac.
All right, now let's compare that with the mixed version.
Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown, came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch
So that's why producers, you know, it's just a different touch. Producers add the stuff.
Compton streets to the Ivory Tower.
I feel like one of these plugins is in solo mode. So here's where, as a producer, we need to kind of go back to our steps and make sure we're not still in solo mode somewhere.
Compton streets to the Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown, came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the
All right, so now we're just gonna work on the second beat and
Shine Nas and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me.
all right, so we don't need
Shine
to
Nas and Pac sound.
change much about the second one. So the first beat, the reason we're having some issues is the stereo imaging, but also we de-essed like the entire song instead of the stems, so it's
Compton streets to the Ivory Towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown, came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture of what Biggie Shine.
let's turn off their isotope just to see with our simple EQ moves here.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones.
So I like the original. Basically, I'm taking away isotope from this chain. So it was causing a little bit of a phase imaging issue. So I just took it off.
Ones talking.
Right, so let's listen to it all the way through. And then we still need to add one more plugin.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got.
All right, so these two songs should blend.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got.
Compton streets to the ivory tower.
All right, so now I'm going to do some geeky stuff, which is to listen to the mid and side image here so we can really tune into like just little stuff about each audio. Again, I'm not going to obsess because we don't have full control over the entire performance here, but I do want to check the mid image and the side image. So let's switch this. Actually, I'm going to use the Pro MB. Let's do mid, or actually let's use the MD4. It's a little bit quicker. All right, so what we're going to do, though, is put this on mid-side mode, if you guys have this plugin. And we're going to turn down the side and vice versa. Let's actually listen to the side image. Because usually this is where a lot of stuff kind of exists that we don't hear.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
All right, so the side image is pretty basic. We could make it more real by turning up like 120 area.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lock.
All right, now let's flip it. Let's listen to the mids.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound. Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound. Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me.
All right, let's listen to this one more time.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
All right, I said one more time, but there's a couple things I forgot. So technically I would automate the multi-band compressor, but because we're just doing all this stuff in one, we're just gonna let it kind of go throughout the track.
Compton streets to the ivory towers. Got the dog in my bones, cause I can't be childish. Outside wildin', 13 years of problem. Hanging with the wrong ones, talking goons and goblins. Got the game on lockdown. Came up way before there was a lockdown. Catch me outside, game holding the block down. A mixture with Biggie, Shine Nas, and Pac sound.
Got the dog in me. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me. You got the dog. You got the dog. Got the dog in me.
So that is what, producers do to take it to that extra level. Okay. So this video is going to be super long. Appreciate you guys sticking all the way through this process. It was a very unique process. And go check out Suno. All right, guys, subscribe if you're new. Peace.